Hey guys! So today I'm back with another book haul, which seem to be my most popular videos and I love doing them, so I assume with the number of views that you guys like me doing them as well, so yeah, I love it. And I've bought quite a few books in the last month or so because I had this kind of mental health blip and I was feeling really down, and I bought loads of books to make myself feel better, so what better way to make yourself feel better? Right, I'm gonna get straight in because these videos always end up super long. So, I finally bought 1984 by George Orwell, which is all about kind of a state that controls you, like the Big Brother state. So, it says on the back, hidden away in the record department of the sprawling Ministry of Truth, Winston Smith skillfully rewrites the past to suit the needs of the party. Yet he inwardly rebels against the totalitarian world he lives in, which demands absolute obedience and controls him through the all-seeing telescreens and the watchful eye of Big Brother, symbolic head of the party. In his longing for truth and liberty, Smith begins a secret love affair with a fellow worker, Julia, but soon discovers the true price of freedom is betrayal. So I have wanted to read this for years and years and years, and I cannot wait to get going on it. Next up is one that I actually didn't buy, but it's The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak, and my friend from work bought this for me because she knows it's one of my favourite books and I don't own it anymore, and she was just like, you can't not own one of your favourite books. So I'm so grateful that she got it for me, and I cannot wait to actually watch the film with her. So it says, this is the tale of the book thief, as narrated by Death. And when Death tells a story, you really have to listen. It's just a small story, really, about, amongst other things, a girl, an accordionist, some fanatical Germans, a Jewish fist fighter, and quite a lot of thievery. So it's set in World War II, and as it said on the back, it's narrated by Death. It's like no other book that I've ever read, and I've read it 3 or 4 times now. It's just heartbreaking and beautiful and amazing, and you need to read it. So then I picked up The Secret to History by Donna Tartt, which I've heard loads about, and I really like the kind of traditional penguin book cover. I just love it. It's just so pretty. So it says, Donna Tartt's The Secret History is the original American campus novel. When Richard Papen joins an elite group of clever misfits at his New England college, it seems he can finally become the person he wants to be. But the moral boundaries he will cross with his new friends, and the deaths they are responsible for, will change all their lives forever. The Secret History recounts the terrible price we pay for mistakes made on the dark journey to adulthood. So this has been labelled as a crime book, and yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to do it, to read it. So next up is a young adult novel. It's called Beyond the Wall by Tanya Landman. I actually met Tanya when I was at school on kind of a little, for the Carnegie Award, we went and saw her and she signed one of my books, well, a copy of her book that I had. So I was really excited to see this new book because I didn't know she'd released anything recently. And it says, Britannia, a conquered land, running, weeping, blood on her lips, blood in her mouth, blood that is not her own. After maiming her master, Cassia has no choice but to run. Beyond the river, far to the north, stands Hadrian's wall, the furthest limit of the mighty Roman Empire. And beyond the wall, freedom. With dogs on her trail and a bounty on her head, the journey seems impossible. But then Cassia meets Marcus, slick, slippery, silver-tongued, a true and perfect son of Rome, and her only hope. And I just thought the cover is so pretty as well. So pretty. Anyway, Trainspotting. I've heard a lot about it. I don't know what it's about at all, and it doesn't have a blurb, which is really unhelpful, but I've heard that it's an amazing book and I've really wanted to read it for ages to kind of tick it off my reading bucket list. And the cover is not my favourite thing in the world. It didn't really draw me in, but I do really like the idea of reading it. So next up is Missing Presumed by Susie Steiner. So this is on one of my Pinterest things. I've got a big Pinterest board of books and all these pins that are like 20 books you should read if you like Gone Girl, or The Girl on the Train, or any book that I like basically. And I remember seeing this pop up on one of those kind of lists, so I wanted to read it, and when I came across it I had to pick it up. And it says, a missing girl, Edith Hind is gone, leaving just her coat, a smear of blood and a half-open door. A desperate family. Each of her friends and relatives has a version of the truth, but none quite adds up. A detective at breaking point. The press grows hungrier by the day. Can Dios Manon Bradshaw fend them off before a missing persons case becomes a murder investigation? So obviously this is a thriller, and I'm really into thrillers at the moment, so I can't wait to get going on it. I just can't even begin with my love for this book. So this is another book that's one of my favourite books, but I don't own it anymore. I gave all of my favourite books to somebody years and years ago and didn't get them back. And I've never repurchased them. But I've probably read this 4 times now, and it is just amazing. So it's We Need to Talk About Kevin by Lionel Shriver, and it's basically told from the perspective of a mum whose son commits a crime. I'm really trying not to spoiler it. It's just, you just need to read it. It's so graphic and shocking and amazing. I'll read the blurb. So it says, Eva never really wanted to be a mother, certainly not of the boy who murdered 7 of his fellow high school students, a cafeteria worker, and a teacher who tried to befriend him. Now, 2 years later, it is time for her to come to terms with Kevin's horrific rampage in a series of startlingly direct correspondences with her estranged husband. Uneasy with the sacrifices of motherhood, Eva fears that her dislike for her own son may be responsible for driving him so drastically off the rails. So there's a lot of kind of nature-nurture debate in here, and it's just so well written and thrilling and just amazing. It was written kind of at a time when the high school shootings in America were kind of at their peak, where they were really kind of starting to come out frequently, and it's just so good. So good. You need to read it. Next up is Song of Solomon by Toni Morrison, and I've read a book by Toni Morrison but I can't remember what it's called, which is really quite annoying. But I had to read it for my uni course. I think it might have been The Bluest Eye, if that's written by her. I've read it. Again, this one doesn't have a blurb, which is really upsetting, so I can't really tell you what it's about at all. But I thought the cover looked really pretty, and The Bluest Eye was a really kind of interesting perspective on race, and I don't know if she's going to write about that again in here, but I imagine there might be something to do with it, so I'm excited to see what goes on there. And then this. There's quite a few thrillers. I've been really getting into kind of like mystery crime thrillers at the moment. Chris Carter, I've read his I Am Death, which honestly the writing was terrible, but the actual story was really gripping and really good, so I was gutted that he can't write very well, or didn't in that one. That's just my personal opinion, obviously, but I didn't really enjoy the way he wrote at all. But the story was so good and stayed with me for so long that I actually picked up another of his books, which is An Evil Mind. So it says, if he's thinking about you, you're already dead. A freak accident in rural Wyoming leads the sheriff's department to arrest a man for a possible double homicide, but further investigations suggest a much more horrifying discovery. The suspect claims he is a pawn in a huge labyrinth of lies and deception. Can he be believed? The case is immediately handed over to the FBI, but this time they're forced to get outside help. Robert Hunter is asked to run a series of interviews with the apprehended man. These interviews begin to reveal terrifying secrets that no one could have foreseen, including the real identity of a serial killer so elusive that no one, not even the FBI, had any idea he existed until now. Yeah, I'm just excited to read like a nice terrifying thriller. The last one that I read was very graphic. It's probably one of the most graphic books I've ever read, and I just wish that the author had structured it differently. What really got to me was the fact that a lot of the chapters were 3 or 4 pages long, and at each chapter there was a suspenseful sentence, which is cool, but not every 3 or 4 pages. It just got really repetitive. So I'm hoping that he doesn't do that in this one. Almost there, sort of. So this book is, I just really liked the kind of spine and then the cover. So it's The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out of the Window and Disappeared by Jonas Johansson, or Jonas Johansson. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I basically really like the cover, and that's why I picked it up. I don't know what it's about. So, you're never too old for an adventure. Sitting quietly in his room in an old people's home, Alan Carlson is waiting for a party he doesn't want to begin. His 100th birthday party, to be precise. The mayor will be there, the press will be there, but as it turns out, Alan will not. Escaping in his slippers, through the bedroom window, into the flower bed, Alan makes his getaway, and so begins his picaresque and unlikely journey involving criminals, several murders, a suitcase full of cash, and incompetent police. As his escapades unfold, Alan's earlier life is revealed, a life in which, remarkably, he played a key role behind the scenes in some of the momentous events of the 20th century. So it sounds like it's going to be funny and just fun to read. So. Right, next is Mary Barton by Elizabeth Gaskell. I've read North and South by her. I read it at uni, and it was a really good kind of Victorian novel with a little bit of a feminist twist that kind of went downhill at the very end. But I really liked it, and I've read it twice, I think, so I wanted to read more by Elizabeth Gaskell. And it says, Mary Barton was only one of several books written in the 1840s out of what came to be known as the Condition of England question. But Mrs. Gaskell was better qualified than Dickens, Carlyle or Disraeli to expand imaginatively on government statistics about industrial distress and injustice, just because she lived closer to them in Manchester, symbol of the new and industrial age at its best and at its worst. Mary Barton is a tale of Dives and Lazarus, of the comfortable pinnacle and the miserable base of the Victorian social pyramid. It is told, however, without oversimplification, without bigotry, and above all, without hatred. With an artist's sensitivity not just to economic and social facts, but to individual human responses, Mrs. Gaskell diagnoses men's tragic ignorance of each other as the root of the evil. So, yeah, it's going to be good. I love Victorian novels so much, and it's quite a short one, although the font is very, very small. 2 more is fine, it's fine, we're getting there, and we're almost at the end. If you're still here, then there's only 2 left. So this is Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell. I've heard so many incredible things about this book, and so many people raving about how good it was, so I've been really excited to read it. And it says, 6 interlocking lives, 1 amazing adventure. In a narrative that circles the globe and reaches from the 19th century to a post-apocalyptic future, David Mitchell erases the boundaries of time, genre and language to offer an enthralling version of humanity's will to power and where it will lead us. It knits together science fiction, political thriller and historical pastiche with musical virtuosity and linguistic exuberance. There won't be a bigger, bolder novel this year. So, and the cover's really nice as well, which definitely helped me pick it up. But I'm really excited to read this and see what everybody was talking about. Okay, last book, it's fine. This is Lady Audley's Secret by Mary Elizabeth Braddon. I was meant to read this at uni and I never got round to it, and then I sold my copy that I had from uni because I was just done with reading things I'd been forced to read, but recently, I think I've spoken about it quite a lot, I want to get round to reading all the books that I never had time to read at uni, so when I saw this I picked it up again, and the cover's really cute as well. So it says, in this outlandish, outrageous triumph of scandal fiction, a new Lady Audley arrives at the manor, young, beautiful and very mysterious. Why does she behave so strangely? What exactly is the dark secret this seductive outsider carries with her? A huge success in the 19th century, this book revels in an anti-heroine with her good looks and hidden past, who embodied perfectly the concerns of the Victorian age with morality and madness. So it sounds incredible, and I was meant to read it as part of my kind of first wave feminist course, so I'm really excited to see what kind of like feminist undertones it has. And yeah, that is everything. As always, please give this a big like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more videos. I do quite a lot of bookish videos, and I will have my top 10 favourite books of all time video coming soon. I'm not sure when it's going to be, but in the future sometime. So yeah, please subscribe for more, and thank you guys as always for watching. See you soon. Bye.